Well, hello again. This is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. We're going to finally move off of 2D CAD drawings in AutoCAD, and we're going to move to 3D parametric CAD modeling, which sounds a lot cooler than 2D, in Solidworks. And so we're going to start off, as usual, we're going to crawl a little bit before we start walking and running. And we're going to build a model of a slot bracket, the legendary slot bracket. And it's a millimeter part, and so these are all millimeter units. So let's get started. So you've got the new templates I gave you, and you got the new instructions to install SolidWorks in case you missed the license expiration deadline. So when you follow the instructions on loading the templates, you'll say File New, and it will immediately point you to this dialog box. And this is kind of a, what do you want to call it? SolidWorks for Dummies thing. It just has pictures for you. We want to go to Advanced tab because we're advanced. And here's my templates I gave you. We've got inch and millimeter part model templates. We've got inch and millimeter assembly templates. And we got a B-size drawing and a D-size drawing we'll use later. So we want we want a millimeter part. This is a millimeter part, so we'll use that millimeter template and say OK. And do a space bar and get our ISO view. And I want to select these planes. I want to select the first one and control click the next two so I can see those planes. The reason I want to show those planes is because I want to show you how we want to orient this part. And I need to get this picture over here. And I think I have the technology. There it is right there. And so this is the planes here oriented just like they're oriented here. This is what I want my part to look like. And I want this to look this way for reasons unknown to you because it'll become crystal clear once we start doing assembly models. But what you're going to want is you're going to want to have these planes in strategic locations in your part so that when you put them in the assembly model, you're going to have an easy way to place these things. And so there's no better location for this top plane than the bottom of the part. So that's what I want to represent, the bottom of the part with that top plane. This right plane has no other purpose in life except to represent the mid plane of the part. That right plane goes right through the middle of the part. The part is symmetric about that plane. So that's perfect, makes perfect sense to put the right plane right there. This front plane, you could argue, maybe it belongs on this back face. Maybe it belongs in that second back face. But this slot has an important meaning to me as a designer because I know the design intent of this part, and you don't because you didn't design it. But trust me that this slot has an important usage at the assembly level, and so I want to have the front plane represent the middle of that slot. So that's how I want to build my part. And so I'm going to drag this over here and start my first sketch, which is going to be on the top plane. And I'm going to hit my sketch tab and then hit the sketch button and watch this thing spin this way. And so that's oriented 90 degrees from what I was just talking about. So there's the front plane, and you see, whoops, wrong picture. I want to drag this back over. So my front plane is this front plane going this way. So I want to build this part going up and down this way. So that front plane is representing what I want. Alright, so I'll drag that over there. Now it's time, I'm in the sketch mode. I can tell because I got my little button here. I can tell because that button's pushed down. If I want to get out of the sketch, I can either hit that return to part button, or I could turn off the sketch tab or sketch button and go back to the part mode. Alright, so I want to go to my line command and draw this thing. So I'm going to go here to here. I'm going to pay close attention. If I click here, I'm not going to get a horizontal line. If I click down here, I'm not going to get a horizontal line. But if I get in the middle here, I get this little yellow geometric constraint icon that says, hey, knucklehead, if you click right now, you're going to get a horizontal line. And that's what I want because I don't want to have to put that in later. So there it is right there, boom. I'm going to click, and now that thing automatically got that horizontal constraint. And so there's a vertical constraint, and there's a horizontal constraint. So far so good. Boom. And I'm not going to put these fillets in here because it's too complicated. I'm going to do those later as a feature. And so I want to go over here and then go up here, right click, select to get out of the command, but look, I blew it. I didn't click on top of that. I wasn't very careful. So I want to merge these together. So I can just select that point, control click that point. Now they're both in the blue box, and I can say merge those together. As soon as I do that, you see I get a closed loop sketch indication with this blue, whatever color that is, little shaded thing there, and that's good because that now it tells me that thing is closed. But I blew this thing. This is a horizontal line or a vertical line. This is not, and so I need to fix this. So I'm going to select the line, come over here and make it vertical. See how I made it bold? SolidWorks is guessing what I want, and it thinks I want that line to be vertical, and that's a good guess because that's exactly what I want. So we'll select vertical. Now that constraint is there, and now no matter what I do with this point, that line stays vertical, which is what I want. All right, let's recheck the orientation, and if I find my picture again, where did it go? Here it is right here. That looks like the right orientation. There's my front plane, there's my top plane, there's my right plane, and that is as per my evil plan. All those planes are where they need to be. All right, so far so good. All right, now let's move on to some more geometric constraints as soon as I find my picture here. All right, so I'm going to go back down and look down from the top, so I need to hit my space bar as soon as SolidWorks decides to come back to life. Space bar, let's look at the top view. All right, now this thing is it's kind of geometrically constrained, but this thing is not symmetric. This is not good. So what I do is I grab something blue and drag it around and then find out what's screwed up. So I know that this is screwed up because that line I'm going to select. I'm going to control click that line. And those need to be collinear. And so I'm going to hit collinear. What else do I want? Well, they also need to be equal. And so it's guessing I want equal too. So I want to select equal. And so it makes them collinear and equal with the 2 clicks of that button. And so now when I drag this blue thing around, they're staying collinear, and those 2 lines are staying equal length, which is a good day for me. All right, what else do I need to do? Well, this thing is not symmetric about that vertical plane, and I need to fix that. And so I drag this over. What I'd like to have is I'd like to have this origin line up vertically with the midpoint of that line. And so let's just do it. But I don't have a point on that line yet. So let's hit the point command. And if I click out here, I want to get a point in outer space or somewhere that's not going to be located anywhere. If I get close to the line, boom, it snaps and it says, oh, if you click now, Summers, that point will be on the line. But I want more than that. I want the point to be the center line. I want the point to be the midpoint. And so as I get closer and closer, I'm not clicking, I'm just getting closer to the midpoint. And now the icon changes. If I click right now, I'm going to get a midpoint on that line. So I'm going to click, right-click, select to get out of the command. Now this point is the midpoint of that line. And now if I select that point, control-click the origin, and line those up vertically, which is what SolidWorks suggests. Now those line up vertically. Now this thing is sitting where I want it to sit. And I've got geometric constraints such that I believe this thing is geometrically constrained. And now and only now is it ready for dimensions. And so now I'm going to go back and look at my little drawing here, and I'm going to start adding dimensions based on that engineers/designers sketch they gave me. So I don't like to dimension the corners for reasons that will become clear later. And so I'm going to make this dimension here, from here, that edge to that edge. It's 25. Click to change it, 25, enter. And it looks like this thing has gone cattywampus on me. And so I need to drag this thing like this. and make it look more reasonable dimension-wise. Probably should have paid closer attention to the dimensions when I was drawing it, but whatever. All right, so that looks a little bit better. So now let's go back to more dimensions. What is this dimension here? Here to here is 18, it looks like. So that edge to that edge. If I was in a command, it would help. Dimension command, that edge to that edge, place it, click it to change the number, and that's going to be 18. And I got to go from here to here. Well, this dimension is not on specifically on the drawing, but it's going to be 45 plus, I can just type in an equation, 45 plus that radius of 7. So that looks good. And then I need to dimension this guy here to here. Looks like it needs to be, well, that's at 7 millimeter radius, so it's going to be 7 times 2. Enter is 14. Now right click or escape to get out of the command. Now what? Well, I still got blue stuff. It's still underdefined down here, so this is still not good. So what do I need to do? Well, this thing, it looks like the shape is good, but I haven't told it where to put that front plane. Remember I told you I wanted that front plane in a certain spot. The right plane is right where it needs to be, down the middle, vertically. That front plane needs to be in the middle of that slot. So I need to add a dimension to the front plane. And even though I can't see it here, I can say dimension. And I can click the front plane in the tree, and it'll know that I want a dimension to that front plane. So I got the front plane. How far is that from the back edge? Well, it's 5 plus 3, according to my high school level math here. And so I'm going to type in 5 plus 3. Front plane goes back to 5 plus 3. I think that's it. So now what happened? Well, still says under constrained down here. No, it says fully defined. Look at that. Boom. Fully defined. Everything turned black. That means this thing is totally constrained. And I'm not going to lose 5 points. So I'm going to get out of the sketch. It's a minus sign here, but when I get out of the sketch, it rebuilds itself, and that minus sign is gone. That's what you want. So now what am I going to do? Well, I want to extrude that shape up 3 millimeters per the drawing. And so you can hit the command and then hit what you want to do. I like to pre-select the geometry and then hit the command. You can do it either way. So I'm going to pre-select the sketch in the tree. I'm going to go to Features, and I'm going to go to Extrude Boss Base. And I got lots of options, but I want to go blind, which means it's going in one direction from the starting plane, which is the top plane. And I want to go up 3 millimeters. And I say, okay. All right, now I need to add more stuff, right? I need to add the that little block back here. So I'm going to do a new sketch. Sketch, sketch, select that face. Now I'm sketching. I've got a new sketch too, and I'm on this face here. So I'm going to space bar and look down from the top so I can get an idea what I'm doing here. And I'm going to do a midpoint rectangle maybe, because that rectangle I know is centered on the origin because of my strategic location of the front and right planes. And so as soon as SolidWorks wakes up from its hibernation here, come on. Here we go. There's my rectangle. Right click, select to get out of the command. It's already centered. That's why I love those planes right there in the middle where they belong. So now all I need is 2 dimensions. I need a dimension for this edge from here to here. The width of that little block is what? 10 plus 5 plus 5. So lazy. All right, that equals 20. I'm going to go here to here. And that's going to be just 10. Boom. Sketch is fully defined. It's all black. And I'm going to get out of the sketch. And there it is. Spacebar ISO view. Pre-select the sketch. Features. Extrude Boss Base. It remembered my last thing, 3 millimeters. Boom, I got it. Now I can make my slot. I need to sketch on this face. I need to cut through, all the way through the part, to make that slot. So this time I'm going to pre-select the face, sketch, go into sketch mode. Now I'm on that face. Spacebar, top view. And I need to do some fancy sketching here. I need to draw a circle. And if you get that little, see that little indicator? It's saying, hey, do you want this circle to start lined up horizontally with the origin? It's like, sure. Thanks for asking. And I'll do the same thing over here. Right click, select. Now I need a couple of lines, and I want the line to go from this circle to this circle. Right click, in chain will keep me in the line command and let me do another line. So I'm going to do in chain. I'll select this circle and this circle. Into those lines are on the circle. Right click. Now I'm going to say select to get out of the command. So I've done a crappy job keeping these lines horizontal and tangent. I want these lines to be horizontal and I want them to be tangent. And let's see what kind of constraints I've got. Well, over here, I got a free one here because I actually clicked close to being tangent. So it guessed I wanted to be tangent. And it guessed I wanted the line to start on the circle, which is both correct. So these already happened automatically. Over here I did a bad job. It's got the coincident. The point is on the circle, but it's not tangent. So all I need to do is fix that. So I select the line, control click the circle, and hit tangent, which is what it's guessing. And over here I want to select the circle, control click the line again, and make it tangent on that end. And now I'm golden. Now I'm going to drag it around and see what's happening. Well, okay, yeah, you got me. I got to make these equal. So I'm going to select that circle. Every time you find something blue, just click and drag something around and you get a little piece of information that will let you determine what the next step is. So here I don't know what to do, but I want to drag this thing up and down, and it's like, oh yeah, what if I made this, control click this, control click this? What if I line those up horizontally? That would be awesome. Boom. Now what do I need? Now I am geometrically constrained. Everything I drag stays the right shape. What happened? Control Z out of that. So I think now I'm ready for dimension. Well, actually, I need to do a trim. There's what I'm looking for. This is constrained geometrically, and so, but I want to do a trim first. So I'm going to go trim, and you got a bunch of options here. But damn, I love power trim. I mean, it just sounds cool. So what is power trim? You click and hold and drag over entities, and it trims that entity you walk over back to the next two things it hits. So I'm going to click and hold and drag, power trim, click and hold. Come on, Solidworks, don't leave me. The hourglass, I can't stand the hourglass. All right, click and hold, drag across there, boom, drag across there, boom. That is nice. And so I want to get out of the trim command. So the other options are probably pretty cool, but not as cool as power trim. All right, so now we can start putting dimensions on here. And it looks like that this thing is a 3-inch radius. So I'm going to go Smart Dimensions, select this arc, and click to change the number, make that 3. And they both change because I made them equal earlier. And I got a 10 millimeter dimension between here and here. Make that 10. And now what do I need? Get out of that thing. Now what? Well, it's unclear. And so what do? Well, I do what I always do. I just click and hold and drag something around this blue. Well, it knows the width of the slot. It just doesn't know where to put it. And so, yeah, I could put a midpoint here and line it up with the origin. That seemed like a genius idea. Or I could put a dimension from here to here and make it half of that. But when in doubt, I like to use geometric constraints. It's just the way I roll. So there's the midpoint. Right-click, select. Click off of it. There's the point. There's the origin. Line that up vertically. And now what happens? Boom goes the dynamite. Everything is fully defined. Everything is black. I'm going to get out of the sketch. Spacebar to give me an ISO view. The thing is fully defined. Now I'm going to cut that thing all the way through. So I'm going to pre-select the sketch. I'm going to go to Features. I'm going to Extrude Cut. And I could type in 6, but that's lame because that's not the design intent. The design intent is that thing cuts all the way through no matter what. And so if those 3 and 3 change to 4 and 4 or some other numbers, if I type in a hard number here, it's not going to go all the way through. The design intent is to go all the way through. So I'm not going to leave it on blind. I'm going to say go through the whole thing. That way, no matter what happens in the future, that thing will always cut all the way through, which is what I want. All right, this thing is really close here. So now what I need is a fillet. And I've got a fillet here. And it's unclear what that is, but the total width of the part is 25. And the width of this thing here is 7 plus 7 is 14. So 25 minus 2 times 7 divided by 2 will give me that fillet. And so I don't have a calculator handy, but I can go to my fillet command. Fillet is bunched together with a chamfer. And so right now fillet's on top. So I can select fillet. And I want to grab these edges. I want that fillet. And I'm going to spin it around and get this fillet. And now I've got both edges in the three. I don't want to do this twice. I want to do it once with one number here. And so this thing, I want to type 25 minus 7 minus 7. That whole thing divided by 2. I don't even know what the number is. But that gives me that nice fillet there, just like I want. Now let's do another fillet. And then we'll get out of this thing. Fillet, I want to do this edge. And you know, I could spin this thing around, but no, I don't have to spin it around. I can see it right there. So there's one edge. There's the other edge. And this thing needs to be 7. 7, enter. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Now I could have put that slot in that original sketch, and it would have put that slot in that original feature. So in hindsight, I probably could have drawn that sketch, but I don't know. I don't mind putting it separate because it's a separate feature. If I'm machining the part, you know, I'll make the bottom piece and then I come back and cut the other part out. So let's do one more feature. Sketch. Oh, come on. Sketch on that face and say sketch. Now I'm on that face, spacebar, top view. Now I can do another slot. Now that slot took me a long time to draw. I had to draw a circle and a line and a line and tangents and trims. It was a big pain in the neck. So I'm going to notice there's a button here that says straight slot. And that seems like something that's appealing to me. So I can do straight slot. I can line it up with that origin. Click there. Oh, this is so cool. Click there. And then click there. Right click select. That's a hell of a lot easier. I love that slot command. Alright, so now it's a real, all the tangents are in there already because that slot command is really smart. So now I just need to add some few constraints, and so let's make the center line of the slot. Oh, it's already lined up with the origin. Look at that, boom. So now all I need to do, man, this is going to be easy. I'm going to do a dimension here. This looks like a 3 millimeter radius. And then this distance is 25 between the two centers. And then still blue because I'm not done yet. The slot is defined, but it doesn't know where to go this way. And I just so happen to have a dimension of 45 between here. And even though there's no plane back here at the back, I can grab the sketch. Excuse me, I can grab that feature and dimension to that edge, because that edge is a part of the model now. And make that 45. So it wasn't too bad. Maybe leaving it out of that first sketch wasn't a horrible thing. Fully defined, everything is black. The minus sign is gone. I don't want to lose those 5 points. And so I'll get out of the sketch. And looks like I gotta wait for Solidworks to shake a leg and keep going. and then we'll, I think we're done. I just need to do an extrude cut through the whole part, not 3 millimeters. That'd be a lame way to do it. I want to do the design intent. The design intent is that slot always goes through the whole part. And so I'm going to get out of the sketch, pre-selected the sketch, features, extrude cut, and through all. That is beautiful. So what you're going to want to do is to convince me that you've done the model correct, you're going to go to evaluate mass properties and compute the weight and the volume, and if it matches mine, then you get all the points. Before we do that, we're going to define a material. So everyone's going to have a different material based on the input I give you during class. And so to change the material not specified, that's going to cost you 5 points. So you got to change that. Right click. Anytime you don't know what to do, right click on it. Right click, edit material. And in my case, my part is 6061 T6 aluminum. And what happened? Right click, edit material. It's not steel, it is aluminum alloy, and it's 6061 T6. Boom, there it is right there. So it's got all the Young's modulus, Poisson ratio, tensile ultimate strength, all the stuff that you get to learn in 3311 when you take that from me later in the spring. So I want to say apply, close. So now that material is applied to this part, and if it goes to the assembly model, it knows how much it weighs and can carry that information along. Once you get a bunch of parts, you're going to be sad because they're all going to look this gray metal look. So we can change the appearance of parts and change the color. And so let's learn how to do that, and we'll call it a day. So when I hit the color ball, I call it the color ball. It's really the display manager. Hit the display manager, and come on, Solidworks, you can do it. Last thing here. Hit the color ball and open up. Right now it's satin finish aluminum because that's the material that's applied, which is good, but I want to change the appearance to some other color. So I'm going to select the part, right click, edit appearance, and I don't know, I'm kind of hankering for a red part here, so let's make it red, and that looks really nice. And so I think I'm done. ISO view. You always want to save it in a nice ISO view. So the next person that opens it up gets your nice view there. And so are the planes in the correct location? Let's go back to the tree. There's the front plane. That is beautiful. There's the top plane, and there's the right plane. And so that's exactly what I wanted. So that's what you're looking for. The one thing I haven't done, I have not saved this part yet. So when the lights go off, I lose everything. So don't be a knucklehead like me and not save this thing. You should save this thing every minute or two, and save it in your folders like we've set up. And we're going to go to documents. You're going to go to your class folder, and you're going to go inside your assignment folder, which in this case is A09. You're going to make a folder for A09, and then you're going to save it under a naming convention we've been using all semester. And in my case, it's this, right? Boom. And I should have saved that thing 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago when I started this thing. Because if the lights go off, you lose everything. And so save often, and that way I won't have to watch grown men and women cry when they lose their model. All right. Well, that's the finish line on your first parametric 3D modeled part, which is kind of exciting. Actually, it's extremely exciting. So that'll be a first assignment, and we'll work on another part tomorrow. Until then, this is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Throw me a bone. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so I can tell my grandkids that somebody watches these videos. So until next time, enjoy yourself, and we'll take care of yourself. Bye-bye.